Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our Week 7 recap video. And if you're wondering what's up with that intro music, yeah, it's relaxing. Why? Because some of us just need to relax. It's been a tough week for some of us, right? It just kind of comes back to show you, right, that fantasy football, it can be a bitch sometimes, some weeks, right? It could be kickers that just piss you off. Yours underperforms and others don't, right? And it sucks. It's happened to all of us, and especially this week, it irritated a few of us. Defenses, same way sometimes, right? You could have a top defense and the game just doesn't go your way, or the team they end up playing just scores a lot of points, especially in garbage time where they score, extra points. And of course, that counts against you. Or you could go into Monday night and have a huge lead and be projected to win by, 90-some%. And then all hell breaks loose. And before you know it, you lose by a lot. Yeah, that's happened this week, and some of us are feeling it. So that was the idea behind the music. The intro songs to our new week, definitely will be a little bit more, upbeat. But this one was just listen to it, be calm, relax. Probably mostly sent to myself after this past week. But yeah, anyways, let's jump into it, right? Let's talk about what happened, what didn't happen last week, who won, who didn't win, and so on. And as for my projections, I did just awful. And then the week was awful. But so yeah, so let's dig in. Shall, why not? Let's see. The first one we talked about, right, was John versus Adam. And John, I feel you, man. Scoring 110 points. I know, defense was on your side. Kickers was not on your side. Injuries were not on your side. All of that, it hits us some weeks. Unfortunately, some of us in the league, it hits every single week, and some of us it's every now and then. But the good news is, John, right, you're just like me. We're still 4-3. We're still on the positive side for, being over 500. That's good. But yeah, I missed this. I said John was going to win. I gave him the advantage in almost everything. I gave Adam the wide receiver edge. And Adam scored, a respectable amount of points, 127, and ended up with the win. But one I got wrong. Clint versus Ian, another one I got wrong. I said Ian had the advantage in almost everything. Running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback was a toss-up. And he scored 121 points. It's just Clint decided this was the week to score more than that. 19, 23 from Njoku. Yep, Thomas. His kicker did well. Defense did average. Yeah, a lot of green on the side over there with Clint, even dealing with Mike Evans getting injured and going out in that game. But yeah, great point total, 145 points for Clint. Moves him up the rankings that we'll talk about a little bit here. But you know what? Another one I got wrong. Who was next? Jake versus Will. Will, I know Will felt a little scared, midday Sunday and so on, kind of going into some of the late games, just based on he wasn't trending to score a ton of points, but he's playing Jake, who, Jake didn't switch out Taylor, and just he's got backups in injuries and just dealing. Wow. Tank Dell, 0 for 4 and then 0. Man, poor Jake Godwin. Jeez, Jake, man. Apparently, I not only jinxed you on the season, but I just crushed all hopes at the beginning of the year by saying how great your team was. So, but we won't dive into that anymore. We don't need to pour any more salt into the wound. Jake, you lost. Will, you got the win. Scored 109 points. But again, doesn't matter how you win. All that matters is you do win. So Will got the win. I picked that one right. 1 and 2. And then it all goes bad again from there. So Josh versus Jeremy. I did say Jeremy had the advantage. I felt quarterback, tight end was a toss-up, and Jeremy had the advantage of one running back and wide receiver. But of course, we're all on Josh's bandwagon, right? Josh had a great start to the season and a couple of good weeks in a row, and we're all about Josh. And then yeah, that curse hit him and hit him hard again. A lot of red on the side over there of Josh. Kicker, defense, man, it's just across the board. Mayfield and Higgins were the only two in green, unfortunately. So Jeremy, very respectable, 126 points. He's got, yeah, I mean, a lot of green. Robinson, Jones, Pickens. Unfortunately, Ayuk got hurt, but and then his defense, the Rams, scoring 18 points. So great job, Jeremy. You got the win. You moved to 2-5. So maybe on the right track, saving your season. Josh, unfortunately, you fall. You fall where John and I are at 4-3. Not all is lost, but definitely a disappointing week. And then next here, Sean versus Dez. I did pick Sean. I gave Sean really all the advantages: quarterback, running back, defense. I guess I gave Dez the wide receiver matchup. And then, I mean, this one was ugly. It was close. Jaden Daniels going out definitely hurt Sean, so it kind of looked bleak for a while there. But then, across the board, your defense, -3 points, which was definitely hurting you. But then, Saints only scored 3. His kicker didn't do much. Jamison Williams, 0.6. Yeah, ugly. Devontae Smith, 0.8. Yeah, both teams had the opportunity. I'd be curious, actually, scroll down. Did they leave some points on their bench? Yes and no. Not really. Probably not anybody they would have felt confident in starting anyways. So, but long story short, as ugly as it was, Sean got the win. We predicted that one right. That moved us to 2-3. Moves Sean to 3-4 on the year, and then drops Dez down to also 3-4 as well. So, and then the last one, myself versus Jay, just awful. I gave myself the edge. I said it would be pretty close. I had the edge going into Monday night, and he only had two guys left, right? Jackson and White. And you guys may have not been paying attention like I was. I don't even know how much Jay was paying attention until all of a sudden he saw that he was winning. But I was, like, after the first half, I was still favored to win. Really, as long as they did about what they did in the first half, I would be fine. And they both scored a good amount of points in the first half. It's just in the second half, they went crazy. And it was frustrating because that darn Baltimore, Tampa game, then kind of got close. And then they needed, I was just hoping it was going to be a blowout and backups were all in by the third quarter, but it stayed interesting, fun for everybody watching it, but it was awful for myself who didn't want that because then, of course, Lamar and White just kept scoring points and touchdowns and so on. So, I mean, Lamar, 34.44 points, 5 touchdowns, just awesome. White, who, I didn't even start him in a league that I had for him because he was questionable and hasn't done much. I mean, of course. Why wouldn't he score 29.10 points? So, anyways, Jay, congrats. You get the win. You needed it. Moves you to 2-5. Hopefully, again, for you as well on a win streak. Drops me down to 4-3. So, let's look at the rankings. Number 1 still is Will, 6-1. We're getting close, Will, where if you keep winning, of course. Clint's trying to stay with you, but, Clint ends up getting another loss, and you've got a little, 2-win gap or so between the teams behind you where you could afford a win and still be fine. But I know that's not what you're thinking. You still want to, finish the season with 1 loss if you can. And of course, be in control of the music for every intro song that we do for the new predictions video. So Will stays at number 1. Clint now number 2 at 5-3. Still a big cluster of teams at 4-3. Ian at 3rd. Adam now jumping up to 4th. Josh at 5th and myself at 6th. John at 7. So we're still above 500. We're still really close to the playoff race as of right now. The way things are going right now, being 500 may not even get you into the playoffs on how they're looking. So yeah, good times. So, but just kind of calling out too a couple of people who are headed in the right direction, right? We just said it. Adam, who's now up to 4th, who's 4-3. After a tough start to the year, has now kind of rebound, got a couple of key wins, and now he's up to 4th, and definitely headed in the right direction. Dez, I know, just lost this week. Him and Sean played a really, really close game, but Dez, still now sitting at 8th. Really, again, 1 win out next week, 4-4, moves you a little bit closer. And then Sean, who ended up getting the win, who now moves himself up to 3-4, close to that 500 mark as well. Could be after next week, and then maybe only a game or so out of the playoffs. And then the last thing I'm going to leave you with, um, the bandwagon, the teams that we decide that we're all about and that we're going to root for. It's destroyed some teams. It destroyed Jake's season. It killed Dez when we talked about it. It's now killing Josh. So I am taking back all the bandwagon. I'm not on anybody's team. We're going to pause it for a while. Josh, I'm off your team. You're struggling. I'm not all about your team anymore. Hopefully that will get you some wins. Now, I'm not going to name a new team. We're going to wait a little bit. We'll let everybody hopefully ride the wave that they're going, improve, keep winning, whatever it is. And we'll wait a couple weeks and then we'll see. Maybe what the new bandwagon teams are and so on. So, and I know too that, and we'll see how much time we have, if it's this week or next week. But now that we're in the middle of the season, of the regular season, right? So we've completed week 7 of 14. Probably we'll start relooking at, our original playoff predictions and then, maybe revise that and see now who, after about half of the year, we would predict to be in the playoffs. And I know based on ranking or records and so on, like you can look at it and you're like, oh, it's the top 6 teams. Yes and no. I mean, Will and Clint, of course, looking really strong, and they've got to be playoff favorites as of right now. But I think everybody else, even probably not Jake, but everybody else down to that, I mean, still has a shot at 2-5, and they, when they get their wins, and if they can get closer to 500, and some of us at 4-3 have shown that like we're really inconsistent. We have our good weeks and we have our bad weeks. Injuries play a lot of part of that. So we'll probably do a bigger breakdown here. If not this next video, maybe the one after that, and kind of look at what the playoffs will look like, maybe now that we are halfway through the season. So, all right, that's all we've got. We're going to kick it back to some nice, relaxing, calm music to hopefully get us through a few more days. And then we can start looking at the new week here, and then we'll be ready to go hopefully by then. So.